right, well, it's finale time. I'm going to record my pre-finale thoughts. Usually I record this right before I watch the episode. It's currently 7:30 p.m. and the episode is going to come drop in about 90 minutes. So what I'm going to do is record my thoughts, edit them, export them, post them. Probably they'll post right before the finale airs. Just in case I'm right, I don't think I am. It's a batshit crazy idea I have. But this way, when time comes, I can just start watching the episode instead of my usual 10-minute preamble. So this will be my usual 10-minute preamble, about 90 minutes early. So I got a crazy idea. I watch probably 15 reactions a week on this show. The normies haven't. I mean, they've done it for Patreon yet, but I don't have their Patreon. So I haven't had a chance to watch their reactions yet. And I don't know that Blind Wave's ever going to do it. Like that, I haven't seen anything about them even having it on Patreon. At least I've seen the normies have it on their Patreon, so they're doing it. But all the other channels, the M and N reacts, your boy Roshi, too many to remember, too many to keep track of. But I've got a whole rotation of people I've been watching the reactions. And I realized something as I was watching all these reactions. A thought kind of coalesced in my brain. Earlier, about 5-6 episodes ago, I mentioned that somebody on Reddit said that this is a rom com. That this the man's in love with the woman. Typically, that's how it goes in a rom com, especially the '90s rom coms. The man, it's love at first sight. He sees her. He's instantly infatuated. He starts stalking her. He finds out things about her, and he starts giving her gifts. They call it love bombing now. He starts love bombing her. And that this show was portrayed that way, where it's like the hive mind is the annoying, obsessed, in love man, and then Carol is the woman, the object of attraction. And in the first act of the rom com, she finds him annoying, and then eventually he wins her over. Then there's a third act complication, right? Now remember, this is a 4 or 5 season series. This season is just the first act of the rom com, and it made sense. It's like it was a joke. But it kind of fit the tropes. Like, it was a thing where it's like they're love bombing them, they're doing all these things, and they can't quite please them. They're just trying too hard. They're trying too hard to impress the girl and get the girl to love them. They already love the girl, and she doesn't love them. She's got her work. She's got something she's occupied with. And I mentioned at the time, typically you don't have a person grieving at the beginning of a rom com. They're not grieving a lost love that just happened, like it did in this series. So that was the part that didn't make sense. Then I got this crazy, batshit crazy, completely insane idea. What if the hive mind actually is in love with Carol? What if the world, the 7 billion people world, are madly, hopelessly, obsessively in love with Carol? In love. Romantic, spiritual, cast your eyes to the heavens, in love with Carol. What if that is what's going on here? And one of the reasons this could be is, first of all, she's playing hard to get. Everybody else is so easy to please, they didn't have to try very hard. The other immune people I'm talking about, except for Manny Nocius. So they but they have no relationship with him. So they haven't, there hasn't been any time for anything to develop there. But everybody else has just been super easy to please. And by the way, but there's another difference between Carol and the rest of the immune. She had a fan base of hundreds of thousands of people before the joining. There were already people who loved her, people who obsessively loved her, like they do any creator of art. There are people who obsessively love Christopher Nolan, people who obsessively love Stephen King, people obsessively love whoever the hell wrote Twilight, whoever the hell wrote 50 Shades of Grey. There are people in this world, maybe not many, but there are people in this world madly in love with these creators, these content creators. There are people in love with Vince Gilligan. What if the hundreds of thousands of people that already loved Carol before the joining had some impact on the hive mind, which is one consciousness, somehow affected it? And she played hard to get it. And it's been kind of toxic. There's been a toxic push and pull all season. We're trying to please you. You broke our heart. You made us cry, and then we had to leave you for a while. Some people think that's manipulation. Some people think they just need space, and now they're back. And now they're in the honeymoon phase again. I wonder if the world is in love with Carol. actually, madly, hopelessly, romantically, soulmates, obsessively in love with Carol? And what if, because they're in love with Carol, they think, they have this biological imperative to turn her, but what if they can't do it? What if they get to the point where they can turn her, and they should turn her, and they would turn anybody else, but they can't make her part of the hive because they would lose the person they're in love with? That's how we would know I'm right. They reach a point where they can try to turn her to their side. They've already turned all the other immune, let's say. Hypothetically, this may not happen this season. Probably won't. It'll probably be 2 or 3 seasons from now. But I will know I'm right 10 years from now when season 3 airs, with all the time in between seasons. When they're in a position where they could, would, and should turn her, and they can't do it because they're in love with her. Just like the spy, the James Bond spy, they mentioned James Bond this season, who should kill the woman who's a Russian spy, but he can't do it because he actually loves her. The private detective who should turn in the woman, who's a criminal. She stole the money from the bank. He can't do it because he's in love with her. He has a duty. He has a biological imperative to turn her, to kill her, to whatever, and he can't do it because he's in love with her. We've seen it a million times. What if that happens to the hive mind? Batshit crazy. Like I said, this is insane. So, that's my big theory. I haven't seen anybody else talking about this. I haven't seen anything about this on Reddit. That's why I kind of wanted to put this out here for the episode airs, just in case I'm right. I don't know how we get proof this episode. I think the only proof positive that we know for a fact, because it doesn't matter if they say we're in love with you, who cares? We're not going to believe them. Nobody believes what the hive says, even though they can't lie. They would have to prove it by having the opportunity to turn her and refusing to do it. Okay, so that's my big shot. The other thing is Mananos. I don't think he's going to be... I've been spending weeks thinking he's going to be pissed off when he meets Carol. But we did get a couple set photos, episode photos this week. One of them shows him sitting in the living room, just all calmly sitting in the living room with Zosha and Carol, There's also Zosha and Carol in, winter gear, apparently in some winter wonderland. What the hell is that about? I don't know. Maybe they run away together. Maybe she runs away with the world to escape Manos. I don't know. But something tells me that him sitting there calmly made me rethink this. Maybe he understands her point of view. Maybe he has empathy for fellow human beings. And he feels like, okay, she had a momentary lapse of reason. Or maybe Carol convinces him, hey, we can turn this girl. Let's use her as our guinea pig. I don't think he's going to be as mad as I thought he was going to be. All right, well, that's my shot. I'm shooting my shot. Let me get this out here before the episode drops.